Right at it. Right at it. Oh,
Jordan
he's
Spieth.
done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon, whenever you are listening. Welcome to episode 108 of the Go Get That podcast. It is a week in review for the Waste Management. A crazy week, a hectic week. As we look ahead on the PGA Tour to Riv, I would assume that the two are not very similar in the way that the tournaments are had in terms of spectators. I'd say that, ironic as it is, a little more class in the Woods event, but we will see how it goes. Any thoughts, gentlemen, before we get into Mr. Spieth?
Well, you were there, so looking forward to hearing some insight from you. Just following along on social media, some of the access you had, pretty cool. Just some of the views. I mean, getting up close and personal on 16. I know you threw it in our group chat. One of the best experiences in golf you probably could have is being on 16 tee box at the WM Phoenix Open.
Yeah, to date, I've been to a major championship. I've been to numerous tour events, and by far the coolest experience I've ever had in golf was walking through that tunnel for the first time.
Yeah.
It was, especially since I got to walk right behind Spieth. And as soon as he walked in, the place went nuts. It was kind of cool because the place was going nuts, like right when I was walking in too. So it was, I could just picture leading the Masters, by a few shots walking into 16.
You've led the Masters before. But...
Well, I have. I've tried to lead it many times in the future as well, but
you've never not led the Masters. Sorry.
But yes, it was very cool. Incredibly cool. My roommate is actually right over here, did the 3 a.m. wake up Friday and Saturday.
That's brutal.
So pretty to rush on 16. He was telling me they didn't even check his ticket. So that definitely has to do with the overcapacity on Saturday. But no, yeah, 16 was incredible. It blew away my expectations. At the end of the day, you look at the great holes in golf, and you think about what more could a stadium add to just a boring 150-yard par 3? And let me tell you, it is something else. I mean, the fact that the fans play, people are just yelling in backswings, and the players just like expect it because that's just how it is. In fact, a lot of the players like to get the crowd cheering so that they know what to expect when they're hitting, instead of having to put it up to chance so they're going to get like a call out, because that's the whole thing. It's when you get a call out that will throw you off that they don't enjoy. But no, it was incredible, especially Sunday was so cool just because I got to follow the leader Hoffman as well, because Spieth was in that group, which was absurd. What I watched Hoffman do was insane. I walked by some of the lies that Hoffman had. Horrible lies. And he would put them to tucked pins with 7 irons to 3 feet. It was ridiculous. The man was so dialed. And
he lost.
Yeah. At the end of the day, he just started the weekend a bit too far back. But no, I think he was 14 under on Sunday.
It was an unlucky loss for Chuck.
Yeah.
14 under par in a day is pretty insane.
Yeah. I think based on like strokes gained numbers, he wins that event 85+% of the time. Like he got jobbed pretty hard losing that event, and he tapped in on 17 up 3. Like, and then he made par on 18. That's ridiculous to then think that you're going to lose that event. But I guess props to Nick Taylor and his opening round 60. It's just too. I guess the one thought I had kind of generally was that the weather. It sucked that it was kind of all disjointed and um, we didn't get the group repairings and just kind of a normal week, especially coming off of Pebble, which was obviously sort of a wacky week itself. It's been a interesting West Coast swing so far through these 2 weeks, to say the least.
Well, the whole reason that the PGA Tour likes to play this tournament on the Super Bowl week is because they usually never have to worry about delays. This is the tournament that gets delayed least out of the entire schedule. And this week was just a one-off. It was craziness. And honestly, Ben, one of the kids I was reporting with all week, said, well, this is a pretty shitty first experience at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. And honestly, I counter that with saying, I think it couldn't have been a better, just because being inside and in the inner circle, seeing everything that goes on when it comes to those delays was extremely cool. So many moving parts. I give the tour a lot of crap for how they handle certain situations, and I still will. But it's crazy how many factors go into all the decisions that are made that I got to see up front, close and personal this week. Now, I mean, I think they handled the delays pretty well this week. I mean, I don't think it was like Pebble where, I mean, this course just at the end of the day does not handle water very often. So it doesn't have a very good drainage system. It can't take as much water as Pebble can. I will stand by that. I would have liked to see them play a little bit at Pebble, but this week, good on them for getting the tournament in on Sunday, which looked very neat, very, very unlikely on Sunday morning. So yeah, I think it was extremely cool to just see, especially how just the media gets alerted first before everyone. We all get a text before it gets tweeted out. So that was pretty cool. Just a lot of factors that I didn't really know how they worked that I sort of found out about this week.
Yeah, I mean they not regrouping, obviously, I guess I honestly didn't really matter to me. I just wanted, play to get in on Sunday, which they did. Kudos to the tour for that. I mean, it didn't really change a whole lot, did it? Happy it got in on Sunday. Especially if Spieth, actually really would have been been in it, the last 9 holes. He wasn't. I mean, if he was and we had a Monday finish, that would have been very, very brutal. Would have been a tough sleep Sunday night because it'd be a lot of stress and, thoughts about the upcoming, whatever, 9 holes it would have been on Sunday or how many ever holes. But yeah, they got play in. Just an all-around good event. Scottsdale obviously gets a lot of, buzz for, I guess, the crowd, but the golf course itself, man, we've kind of seen it, 2 years in a row. It really sets apart the players, which is kind of what you look for in a good golf course. With Scotty last year and Scotty and Taylor, last year, and then obviously Chuck and Taylor this year. I mean, I was looking, I think like T8 was like 8 shots back. So obviously it's penal, but if you're, playing really well, making putts like Nick Taylor was, you can shoot a low one.
Yeah, and I think obviously I saw a lot of, shrink the game comments this week. And honestly, I think that's just a bunch of baloney. Because I think if you can get past the Betas of the world, the Zach Johnsons and the Billy Horschels, I think the players come here and enjoy it. I think they embrace it for a week. I don't think it's bothering too many of these guys. And if they are, like, I know that they got a little out of control this year, but you have to know what you are walking into when you commit to this tournament. It was a signature event this year. No one who didn't want to play had to play.
What do you mean it wasn't a signature event?
It wasn't a signature event, yeah. So no one had to play this event. And it's not nearly one of the top purses of the year. So even financially speaking, you were given many options to skip this event. I just think that the complaints are unnecessary. Like, listen, it's gonna get out of control at times. But
At
there are a lot.
times.
This
That's ironic right there. But continue.
it's just I think it was cool. Because you obviously have your outliers, people that are going to take it too far and get a little bit too intoxicated. But I think for the most part, it gets people who aren't into golf there for the day. And I think that's really cool. There are a lot of people there this weekend. I'd say there were, I think, close to 140,000 people there this week total. Um,
It's impressive.
sorry, no, wait, more. Yeah, there were 330,000 people there Saturday. So what am I thinking?
3:30
Multiply.
Saturday.
Yes, the maximum capacity is 250. There were 80,000 people over capacity.
They fit 330,000 people in on that golf course.
Yeah.
Ay.
So, I mean, there were probably close to 1 million people that showed up there throughout the week. And you know, I would have to say probably 80 to 100,000 of them don't know a golfer besides Tiger Woods. And we talked about that. And I just think that's really cool. I don't think it's sustainable to make this a way like a branding for the PGA Tour in general. But for 1 week a year, why can't it be a frat party? You know what I mean? I mean, I've been to a lot of PGA Tour events, and I think that the angle that they take here and the way they embrace it, I think is really cool that it's a party scene on 16. I think sometimes we get a little bit too caught up in the fact that there are a lot of people older who don't want to see the game be tarnished. I think that's just not the way that this sport needs to head right now. In the time of Live right now, where Live's trying to appeal to those people too, I think this is a good week for the PGA Tour. We talked about how the PGA Tour struggled last week, not being able to show golf on Sunday, and Live got a lot of viewers. I think this week I didn't hear much about Live. So I think it was pretty cool. The PGA Tour definitely shifted the focus back to them. They knew what they had to do, and it was an incredible event to see credentialed, just because I got to see from the inside out what sort of the players see from the crowd, and I think it was awesome.
Yeah. No, I don't think it was too far out of control. I think you'd have to ask the players what they thought about that, because at the end of the day, they are
Yeah,
the product, and if they aren't happy with some of the stuff that's going on around them, then that seems like it's not a great thing. And I I think just sort of one thought about some of the backswing stuff and whatnot, at least on certain videos, like the Billy Horschel video. I know Spieth got caught a couple times with cameras flashing or somebody saying something or whatever it might be. Just with how, and this is very niche, but if we're gonna get into it, then with how sports betting is, right? All it takes is one yell in the backswing and a snap hook into the water to change somebody's matchup. And so I think it's and obviously that's very, very specific, but there's certain levels of which, that kind of boisterousness from fans can be tolerated, and I think you have to respect the ground rules of what the game is. And I'm not saying that 90, I'm sure 97 or 8% of the people that were there did that. That's fine. And 16 being a party hole that's fine. But if there were plenty of players saying that this isn't,
yeah,
it was a little too much, then I believe them. It was a little too much.
yeah.
But
And that's
okay.
exactly why I think Zach Johnson can screw off, because
No, but I think my point is that Zach Johnson has the right to say that.
correct,
And that's what he believes.
But the problem was he's in the minority. This is not everyone saying.
I don't know, because we don't.
I heard a lot of people on Saturday who, in their post-round interviews, Lowry, Spieth, even Hoffman, talk about how Saturday was exactly how they remember every previous year being, and they said that they had no problem with it.
You also had
Um,
Ben On and Michael Kim who are like, it's out of control though.
yeah, but you're also looking at, and it's easy to say because obviously the people that I speak of, Spieth, Hoffman, even Lowry played very well this week. And then the people of the Kims, the Ons,
It's a fair
and
point.
the Zach Johnsons of the world played poorly this week. And at the end of the day, it goes back to the fact that I don't think, now this is my first year here, I don't think this is much different than what we've seen in the past. I just think this is the norm here. And if you don't want to play the event, there's nothing forcing you to. I do believe
I
that
think 80K over capacity is not the norm. And I'm not suggesting that
correct.
overcapacity creates these problems, but I think that like to suggest that this is how it normally goes, I think is a little um it
I'm
might
just
be a
saying what the
little
players are saying.
far-fetched.
I'm just saying with players. The players that I heard from, granted they were playing better, said that it was nothing out of the ordinary. So that's why I'm saying this. Now,
Okay.
do I believe, like, you're correct, Dan, that there are people, like there are rules that it gets to a point where you have to follow them. Like we can't have it be, we don't want people getting hurt out there. And at the end of the day, I think I give a lot of credit to the police department this week. They, especially walking with them for most of the week and getting to know a few of them, they are, they had to do a lot. They had to work very hard this week.
Can you explain like how that like how many police are on property there?
So most weeks it's one officer per, um, so there's a difference actually I learned. Most weeks on tour,
Yeah.
not including majors, I assume, there's one police officer per group. This week there's a police officer per group plus an extra security guard, which I think there's a security, like just security person at every tournament too. And all of the big names have their own personal security guard. So Spieth had his own personal security guard, who I got to know a bit, who had to throw a few people out. I got to know Ricky Fowler's personal security guard. She had the weekend off. But um, so yeah, there's just a lot more security presence.
Imagine Wood
Um,
ships up. He's got like probably like 10 security guards around him. Like a bubble.
yeah, and it speaks to, again, I think, yeah, it is a little different, but I think that the police handled it very well this week.
I think they know what to expect.
Yeah, like the least confrontations, the better, and they were definitely they tried to settle things as discreet as possible, which is what you want. You don't want a bunch of people cheering for the drunk guy, right? So you want to handle it well. But again, I also don't want to act like this is the only golf tournament that sells alcohol. Like there are drunk fans at other events. And as much as it's maybe more encouraged here,
I think the demographic at that event is way different
it's
too,
very
though.
true. Very true. And I think that part of that comes with this being a pretty cheap tournament. It's not major prices because of how many people they can fit in. And this is one of the only events on tour that people are willing to fly to. This is for a golf fan, this is a destination trip. And when you have all these frat people at GCU and ASU, plus a bunch of boys trips coming in from out of state, that does create a demographic of a lot of irresponsible drunk 18 to 28-year-olds. But at the same time, again, this tournament's been embracing this sort of branding for 10 plus years now. And as much as for the first time, I do think it got a little bit out of control on Saturday, purely because I just think there were too many people per square foot. It was too squished. I had credentials, and there were places that I could not get for 15 minutes. So I do think that it got a little out of control Saturday, but at the same time, I think that I don't think they need to change the demographic. They just can't let that many people in. You got to check tickets. This has not been a problem to the extent that it was Saturday in the past, and the branding has not changed.
Yeah, agreed. I think I agree with you on pretty much like every point, Bob. The players don't have to play the event. It's kind of as simple as that. Like I understand the complaints, and yeah, I do. I kind of agree with Dan. Like the screaming in the backswing just sucks, man.
It does.
Especially
It
like
does. But unfortunately, the reality is that does happen elsewhere.
Not really though. Not in the same lens that it happens here.
I only saw 2 instances this week.
Right. And I was gonna say that like there's not a ton of videos out there of man on every hole somebody's just getting their, you know,
Yeah,
their
because I
swing
saw
messed up by a
the
fan.
I
I'm
saw
not
the
trying to
Horschel
say that,
video
but
and I saw the Spieth on 18 happen.
yeah.
Besides that, I mean, on 16, the talking the backswing is
Yeah, no, I don't care
Yeah.
about 16. 16 was fine.
even 17, I give a little bit of lenience to, just because since that player jumped in the pond, they've made that entire hole into a stadium now too. There's no chairs on the grass left of 17 anymore. It's just a big stadium, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But I know you remember that after Spieth made the putt.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna say,
jump in.
what was he dressed up as again?
I don't even remember, but
Spieth just pointed at him and he hopped in the pond.
yeah,
It's like, yeah, here's my 10th birdie of the day.
Spieth riled him up
Take
too.
a
He was,
swim.
he was riling him
Yeah.
up.
Spieth instigator.
Yeah. There's
Spieth
some
took
good
credit
videos
for it too.
of Spieth this week on
Speaking of Spieth, I think it's time that we get away from the
Yeah.
it's more serious. Like, what are you got to see? You know, did you? I don't know if you saw all 72 holes, Bob, but
I saw every shot he hit.
you saw every shot. So like
Every shot.
up
Yes.
close.
I almost did not make the putt on 3, but I got out there in time. I saw it from a distance, but I was
Well,
running.
Like, what Spieth look like? Do you think is Greller in midseason form yet, or do you think we're still, you know?
Well, Greller is in midseason form 12 months out of the year. And we know that. Throughout the week, I
Was he
watched
in
those.
pants or shorts all week?
It was brutal shorts throughout the week, including in the 33-degree rainy weather. Greller in a packed range was the only man with shorts. I do not believe that man owns pants. He wanted to show off the calves, and he did. He has a lot of fans out there, which is good to see. Much deserved. But no, I mean, listen, it has been, you could argue 2016 since I've seen him pass at the golf ball as good as the driver right now.
It is pretty tasty.
It is so good. And he is so confident with a driver or 3-wood off the tee right now. So confident. Swing looks as good as I've seen in a long time. The man just does not play smart golf. He does not play smart golf. Almost every 4 wedge he hit this week was distance-wise. There were a few exceptions, but most even wedge and approach swings were very good, because most of the angles I tried to get, unless he was in the rough and I could get a close-up video, were directly behind the pin in line with where he was hitting. And a bunch of them looked good all week. He was flushing it. If I had just seen the swings, like, there's no reason he should not have scored 6 better than he did. He left so many shots out there with wedges. He scored very well. And I don't know really how I can say this without like contradicting myself, but he scored very well. He stole a few when he gave away a few, but he stole them back, which was nice. But man, it definitely is a negative to walk away from that week with how well he hit the ball and how well he struck it with the irons and wedges. and how many strokes he gained on the greens to all together finish 8 strokes back the lead. Now, he could have played his best golf this week and still lost. I will say that. It's very possible. Chuck and Taylor were on another one this week. But it was a little the place that he finished was a little frustrating. Because honestly, there were mistakes that he made this week that you just can't make. You're looking at 2 shots on 15 on Thursday. All the bogeys he made on 16 were pathetic. And you know, that's 4 shots right there. And at the end of the day, you should not be able to find 4 shots that easily. I cannot believe with how well he was striking the ball with his wedges, that shot he hit on 16. I mean, it was right at the pin, and he didn't come within 10 yards of where he needed to land that ball.
Yeah.
He needed to land that ball 10 feet past where he did.
It landed like 2 feet next to the hole.
I
understand that that's not
I don't
a
think
good landing spot, but
I didn't see how far it was, but I can't explain to you guys how moved up that tee was. He probably had 105 yards, 110 yards into that green.
yeah, it was 123.
Yeah, if it's 160 from the back, that was 40, 50 yards pushed up. That is a flip wedge with the way he's hitting the ball and striking it. That is a complete mental error. On Thursday on 16, terrible. In what world do you hit a full wedge from 140 with swirling winds in a stadium? I watched a bunch of people hit shots, and every single professional golfer knocked down their ball flight except for Jordan Spieth. I just there were some mistakes in person that I noticed that just it can't happen. And it was really, really frustrating. I'm 10 times more mad about that than the 3-footer he missed on 8. Like I'd much rather him lose shots like that than some of the ways he lost shots this week. I don't even want to talk about the goat laying up into the water because God help me if that ever happens again.
It'll happen again.
But he knew
Not the first
exactly how the wedges were reacting on the greens this week. And he was spinning them off the green all week long. He never adjusted, and it was brutal to watch in person given how good the balls looked in the air and how well he was striking it. I mean, if he hits those wedges and irons the way he did this week and hits it even half as good as he hit off the tee this week, he is gaining a stroke for the tournament away on the greens from winning at Riv. And you guys obviously only see stats and the camera angle, so it's tougher to see. But like those strikes with the wedges and irons are not the problem. It's literally just the decisions he's making going into the shot. The strikes are all good. He likes everyone in the air, and it's just, and not to mention, so there's 4 shots we talked about. Jordan, you talked about this too. He made 2 bogeys on Sunday where it's a simple 40 shot to 40 feet. Like it's mentally frustrating because he was a mental, like just a normal mental game away from finishing this week -18 or -19. And that's just what really hurt watching it in person because it was just completely over exaggerated. Seeing I tried to get all the angles down the line behind the pin and just every wedge being landed in the same spot and the same mistake being made over and over again. It just stunk because this is a long golf course. TPC Scottsdale is a long golf course. There are not a lot of 100-yard shots. It's mostly 120, 130 if you're going to have a wedge. And those zip like crazy. Because you really can't knock those down. Those are full swing wedges, and those are gonna spin every time on those greens. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the wedge play. It's more just the decisions of how he's planning. Like it's like he thought that it was just going to change miraculously in the middle of the week every time. So yeah, that's my take. But the swing looks incredible. I will say that.
I think that seems fair. There's probably something to be said about just overall distance control with wedges that just
Which
isn't there right now.
yeah, as well.
And I thought I feel like when he's swinging it well, he's on balance. And I felt there were very few times where he looked off balance this week. So
Mhm.
that's a very much a positive. And it was nice to have him play 18 holes on Sunday after finishing the third round of, hey, that was a good iron play round. That last one was very solid. Gained a stroke and a half to the field in round 4. And then of course he only hit like 5 fairways or something ridiculous. So there is this sense of a little bit of whack-a-mole with the swing that is I guess not unexpected, but a little just frustrating, I guess, in some sense. But yeah, swing looked good. It was good to see some shots drop. To think he holed a couple 50-footers, chipped in a couple times and lost by 7 is interesting. Did get the bad wave, but um, I don't know. There's some good things there, and I have a nugget for you guys, but I'll let a little stat nugget, but I'll let Jordan share his thoughts here.
Well, I love me some nuggets, so I'm looking forward to that. But
Yes.
not just draining the 50-footers, his speed all week was like pristine. Like it was
Yeah.
really,
it was
really
incredible.
good.
It was in the putter. Let me make this very clear. I really don't care. Like, as someone who watches a lot of Jordan Spieth golf, they're exciting, but I really don't care about 55 footers dropping. Like 55 footers dropping speaks nothing about how you're putting the ball. But I will say, like, his putter this week, his speed was incredible. Everything was grazing the hole. It's been so long since we've been able to say that. And he didn't miss a short putt until late all week, which was nice. Like, I'm okay if one of those happen a week. If one of those happen a week, that's fine. If he misses one putt inside of 4 feet every week, he's going to be an astronomically better golfer. So I loved the putter is not the problem. Let me say it again. The putter is not the problem. And I know, Jordan, you agree with me.
I would agree with you. Yeah, the putter right now is not the problem. I mean, it was a problem with Pebble, but
yes.
I mean, we got 3 events in 2024, and he's putted elite in 2 of the 3. So really good from that perspective. But I guess it sucks when you putt elite twice and you don't. I mean, he hasn't had. Did he have a chance with 5 holes left to win at Century? Like it was on the edge,
Sort of.
probably. So like, man, I'm not really one to like force a win because like I think if you continue to play consistent golf and finish in the top 10, a lot will come. But like as Dan said, it's kind of been like whack-a-mole. Like couple things will be elite, something will be a little bit off, and it'll just stop him from winning. Um, I just want to see it all put together, and he really hasn't done that since 2021. Besides maybe 1 or 2 times where everything has came together, and it's hard to win, and you can't really win unless you have everything together. So we'll obviously get into that in the Riv podcast, but it's if the putter stays around, I'm very confident, and I think I speak for all 3 of us that the irons and wedges will come around too.
I kind of saw this week with the putter. For someone like Spieth, I think it was really good for him to see a lot of putts fall this week. Like, I think that will help his confidence immensely because there were a lot of putts that probably shouldn't have fallen. Like the 55 footer, he made 2 from 50 plus feet. like seeing those fall are just nice for confidence, right? Because then you feel rewarded for all of the good lag putting you're doing. And I think that, maybe we could see a putting tear soon. I'd like to get. I don't think we're out of the recession yet. I think we need a little more longevity.
He's on a tear right
But
now, though. You throw out
um,
Pebble. I mean, it's been really good.
yeah, I agree. So I think the putter is on the come up. So
It's nice to like watch him and have him stand over a 26-footer and be like, you know what, this could go in. Like to sort of steal a shot in a sense that just hasn't been there in a long time. Not having to hit it to inside of 6 feet or 8 feet to give yourself a good birdie look is nice. And I know Jordan might have some numbers on like the lack of darts in this early season, but while we're talking about the putter, I thought I'd bring it up and maybe we'll do a little sort of guessing game here. But he's gained strokes putting in all 4 rounds 2 times this year, 2 out of the 3, Century and Phoenix.
Ooh.
When was the last time he did this? When was not twice, but before the Century? When was the last time he gained in all 4 rounds? And so don't think of Pebble because there's only 2 rounds. Missed cuts don't count. So
I mean, the easy answer would be Heritage Masters, but that's not right, is it?
back-to-back weeks.
no, just prior to Century, when had he last gained strokes putting in all 4 rounds?
Like 2 straight events.
No, not just in general, in one event. When had he done it in one event?
Heritage?
No.
Before that?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. That tells you he's not been a very good putter.
Heritage.
Heritage,
Years
Heritage.
ago?
Well, definitely not the one that he won in 22 because he lost.
Oof.
He lost.
That was
Oh, right. Yeah, he putted horribly that week.
Is it
But
an
the one in
API?
23, you're gonna make me double check it. It's not API.
Valspar?
I'm 99% sure in my.
Phoenix 21.
Phoenix possibly, but you don't have to go back that far.
All right. Congrats to Spieth for not being that bad.
Congrats
Oh,
to Zeke on it
man.
not being 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Oh,
answer.
wait. Don't spoil it. Again, I got to think about this.
Okay.
What year was
So,
it? 2022?
You guessed Heritage, and he lost strokes. He lost like barely in the first round, so that was not it.
Is it 22?
It is 22.
Oh Lord.
So 20. So to kind of clarify for those listening,
Oh,
he's done it twice in 2024, and he did it 0 times last year. 0.
was it
in the
22
calendar year.
Memorial?
No, because he just barely lost strokes on
Oh,
Sunday.
all right.
It was
I'm
very
done.
good.
I
It
give
was
up.
very good otherwise.
Give up.
Before Century 24, it had been 2 years. Century 22 was the last time he gained strokes putting in all 4 rounds.
Does he
For day
really
to
putt
golf.
those greens that well?
And so he did it again in 24 and then obviously just this past week. But to go, that was 45 events without doing that is ridiculous. That's just
How many times
the
has
kind
JT
of
Poston does that?
right. JT Poston does it 8 of his last 12, and then of course not this week. And
Of course not this week.
But it's nice. It's nice to see putts drop from 30 feet again. And hopefully he doesn't have to keep giving himself those looks, right? Hopefully the iron play sharpens up a little bit. And Riv, we'll get into Riv next episode, but it should be a little bit firmer. So
Yeah.
hopefully reduce some spin and whatnot.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say is the unfortunate fact is that right now, and I said this in chat, the week that Spieth had this week is pretty similar to what Scotty does every week on his bad weeks. Just sort of stealing a few here and scoring, finishing T6. Like Spieth was there. His presence was there this week. If he does that more often, eventually he's gonna get a good draw. Hopefully, he's gonna hopefully figure out the wedges and irons a little earlier than the final round. And like, it's all about having these weeks, which is a good and bad thing, because this is what we would consider now a very good week. But this is probably considered an okay week in 2015, 2016, 2017. So it's really all about just giving yourself, like, making it, like, being there. Like, we want the field to be scared of seeing Spieth on the leaderboard again. And right now, I wouldn't say that they are, but I think that this week is a huge step in the right direction. So I'd like to see him string together a few more of these weeks if he can't win before the Masters, and we'll see from there.
Yeah, that's well said. And it's been a good start. I mean, this is third top 6 already in 4 starts.
Yeah.
In his last 4 starts. Hero was 6th. Obviously a solo 3 at the Century, and then T6 this week.
He's playing good golf.
So he's playing
What is
good
he
golf.
was he in the data golf rankings?
14.
He's 12 or
You know,
14.
he's higher.
OWGR is 12.
Weird.
That was my other really important note, was that he just is barely outside the Comcast business top 10. And that's a little bit disappointing. He's 11th. So hopefully that changes.
Gotta get that Brian Roberts money.
Because, well, yeah, and it's just fun to have your name shown every week while they watch Rory like hack it around the Cognizant Classic, and then just pause to show you the Comcast business top 10 Spieth J in 6th or whatever.
Speaking of symbols, I know Bob obviously didn't get to see the symbol because he was on course, but Dan, what were your thoughts on the featured golfer symbol being next to Andrew Novak, but not Jordan Spieth?
Look, that was weird to have his group on Saturday night and then drop them Sunday morning.
He's making a charge.
While he played 8 and 9 birdie. And then I thought they corrected the wrong by featuring him in round 4 up until 15 or whatever. I think just a weird week for PGA Tour Live because of the weather delays and whatnot. We'll see what it's like. I mean, this is all Riv stuff, but small field at Riv, so it should be plenty more. I thought the coverage was fine. It's just a little bit. It's tough with all the delays. It is.
It was tough because you get, like, I'm sure Bob could allude to this, but you get delay after delay, and like they keep hitting you, and you're like 15 minutes more, 15 more. It's like you wish you just get like one. I understand they can't do it that way, but it would be nice if this is a set time. It's not going to continue to move back, and you can plan around it, because obviously we devote so much time to watching Mr. Spieth. But
yeah, and Frost is tough because you have to respect it, and you just don't really know when it's gonna go. Hopefully, but again, more risk stuff, but the sun is shining in Southern California now, so
knock on wood, it looks like we will play a tour event without a delay this week.
Yes, although there's a chance of rain Sunday, so I wouldn't.
A chance of rain means
NH.
Very good
anytime a drop falls, it'll be up for chance. Who knows if PGA Tour Comms has a tweet just ready to go when the first raindrop falls Sunday, but I don't have any more Spieth thoughts. I have some other thoughts though, if anybody else has.
Last Spieth thought. I guess we'll get into more in the Riv preview, but we finished 2 of the 3-week stretch, so there's that. Got Pebble in the books, got Phoenix, and then you have a signature event to close it off. So, but yeah, that's my last. That's all I got.
Cool. So I just wanted to follow up, and I'm doing this because I'm winning it. But the triple double, little scoreboard action right off the bat. Kurt Kitayama, good pick.
Well done.
He rolled in 230 grand or so. Hideki had a decent week. Poston did not. I know my
Can
fellow
we
podcasters made about 30 grand this week. So
Kevin,
good
you
lead for
choked big time.
camp.
can we please talk about the fact that once we changed the format, I would have ran away with it because Nick Taylor was my pick this week, and I
Tough luck, man.
would have put at least 5, if not 10, go get that points on Nick Taylor. So
That's too bad.
It's tough chunks, man.
yeah, and then for some reason I didn't take him in the thing.
Yeah.
He
That
would
was
have been great to
interesting.
use this week too, because he's not like a
I
massive
was
name.
basically like taking another strategy, maybe. I don't
Well, yeah, him and
know.
like Chuck Hoffman. I know he's not playing good, but
Yeah.
like if
But,
you're gonna
but my lock of the week that I gave did hit. Nick Taylor, top Canadian. So that was a
Yeah,
great
that was-
snipe at plus 400.
Yeah, well, I was about to get into some of the ones that I threw out there. Not great. The Kitayama top 20 is nice at plus 260. I also Kitayama at minus 120 to top 40. Harris English top 40 at plus 105. But then Poston Matsuyama did not finish inside the top 20. And
Poston is a loser.
Zach Beta Johnson did not make the top 40 either. So that was a
You
little
had
missed.
Zach.
Complaining.
You had a Zach like recommendation.
Yeah, top 40. He had been around, I think it was like T38, T41, T43, his past 3 tries here. And I figured at plus 240.
This might have been
Why
his
not?
last try.
Yeah, and then he follows it up with a plus. I think he was like T16 at one point on Friday and then finished T61. So whatever. I'll bring out a few each week, I think.
I'll try and do the
but I'm
same.
excited to kind of dig into Riv a little bit and produce some more winners. I think I know who's gonna win next week, and it won't be a surprise. But
He got the same initial.
Is he
for the
perhaps a
first?
is
and
he
last
perhaps
name?
perhaps a Texas man?
yeah,
Is he a Texas man that
Is he
may
married
have
to a
3
Meredith by chance?
majors?
Oh.
he does not have 3 majors. He only has
If you
1.
subtract 2 from 3,
Ah.
does he
Personally,
like
man.
play?
He's an old
personally, I will be
man and a young
placing
body.
Spieth top Longhorn next week.
Ooh,
Is
I just think
there like 2 in the
Scheffler
field?
just flushes the
Just
golf ball.
cannot wait for Doug Gim to take my soul.
There's no way Doug
but-
Gim's in this field, right?
It's definitely
Oh, tiny
possible. I
field.
don't know.
Speaking of who's not in this field, do you guys remember who I wanted to take last week?
Oh, Pavon?
Pavon's not in this field either, and he qualified for the event. I don't know
Mr.
what he's
Pavon.
doing.
Is he going to live?
I don't know what he's doing. Obviously,
Mafu Pavon to
taking,
live.
taking Phoenix off makes sense, but he qualified for Genesis and is not playing it.
Well, I mean,
I
he's
know who did
comfortably
qualify for Genesis that will be playing?
Chuck,
Mr. Chuck Hoffman.
the Pavon is securely inside the business top 10 though, so that's probably why he doesn't need the extra
the
funds
C
from.
business. Yeah.
he doesn't
Oh,
want to show up to
could you-
Tiger's event. Why not?
Could you imagine a Woods Thomas Pavon marquee group Thursday, Friday?
That's what the people want, man.
That's what I want.
Well,
Well,
I'm
we'll
gonna
see.
give a little sneak peek into one of my picks next week. And let me just say, in a 70-person field with a 50-person cut, I will definitely have some stake in a man who will be wearing red on Sunday. Because I just think there's no way he plays this event if he thinks he had any chance of missing a cut that's only the bottom fourth of the field. I don't think he'll embarrass
He's not
himself
missing
like
the
that.
cut.
Yeah, he's not.
You're
missing the
gonna
cut.
use one of your
But
2
Chuck
picks. I
Hoffman
mean, he's only
is.
gonna play like 6 events, so
When am I ever going to use Tiger Woods again?
you don't have to use him.
I know. I'm just saying. I don't think I'm wasting a Woods pick here.
No,
I mean-
I don't want to get too much into Riv.
I
but
believe
Rory-
the purse
Rory
is
Hovland
huge, right?
back.
The purse
It's a
is
signature
huge.
event, yeah. So it's
Yeah, it's
But
20
how-
it's
is
up
it-
there.
Winner gets
Uh,
3.8, I think. So
Yeah, it'll
What's the
probably
biggest
have to
purse
be.
in golf right now? Was it the U.S. Open?
I think it's the signatures
Bigger
I
than
think
the
the
majors,
signatures are
huh?
higher than the majors.
bigger than
yeah.
the majors.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
actually, no,
signatures are-
it's the players. It's the players.
Oh, it's the
Oh.
players.
It does mean more.
It just means more.
Funny, man. The
Especially,
signatures
it'll
are.
be funny when Shoffley gets a bad draw around Sawgrass and
Oh boy.
gets slighted out of the one he wants most.
We will be hoping for 20 to 25 mile per hour sustained winds at Sawgrass.
That would be
Want to know
awesome.
why?
Well, they probably won't delay play, so go 15 to 20.
Do you want to know why I'm really scared about Mr. Scheffler at Riviera? Is because 10 is the most luck-based hole in golf.
This is a great
No.
point. This is a great point.
And Mr. Scheffler gets to play that hole 4 times next week.
It's a decider. It really is.
That saves him 4 shots off. He's just 4 under already, basically. Just
Mr. Scheffler will not be having any tree trouble next week on the 10.
Every
He
try-
will not be finding himself plugged in any of those bunkers.
No.
Which is an advantage against the field.
Yeah.
So all
Is-
Scheffler has to do is hit the driver as hard as he can, and he will have a great look at birdie.
Yeah. The
So
he's insane though. He was first off the tee and second on approach this past week.
watching Scotty Scheffler hit approach shots, I mean, it's
That's ridiculous.
mesmerizing. Mesmerizing.
And he
He is
made
probably there's a chance that besides Prime Woods, he's the best like ball striker of all time when it ends, when everything's
he's like
said.
Mahomes to Brady.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
I'm just kidding.
But do we need to get into that?
He's like Stafford to Brady.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a bad comparison. But
I'd agree.
yes, congrats to the Chiefs on the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It took a while for the game to get good.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
I
know
didn't really see the first half.
You know, like
so-
I
defense,
know
Dan.
Jordan, you probably feel a little disappointed because
I am. We should have been there.
B Moore was definitely the best team in the league.
Definitely,
Jones
I think
said-
you could. I think you could say that. All things considered, there really hasn't been a team that far clear in a while. I think Baltimore was clearly the best team in the NFL this year.
We can end the
Um,
conversation.
Okay.
Thanks.
Well, we can.
Uh-huh.
I think everybody is just lucky that Pats had a tough season.
Yeah,
Well,
but-
they'll have tough seasons to come.
No, they won't.
There's
be back
something
next
about. I really don't think that. There's something about Mayo. I don't think he'll be a good coach. So
Okay.
I will
Fair
say,
enough.
if there's one thing I will say about the Ravens, I was getting my blood drawn today, getting blood work done. And the dude, because when you get your blood work done, I don't know if you guys have ever had blood work done. You never want to like look at it because it's just you don't do that. So you look away and you talk about something. I'm talking about the Ravens with the guy, and he's like, I asked him, "Do you watch the Super Bowl last night?" He's like, "Yeah," and he's like, it's so tough. Like it was so tough to watch because like literally everyone in this town is like, we blew a tremendous opportunity, and well, we did because we were the best team, especially after
Yeah.
watching last night.
Oh yeah, the fact that Mahomes got a ring in a season that wasn't his best is impressive.
Brady-esque, some would say.
It is Brady-esque. You do realize that what Mahomes has done the past 5 years, he's done it better than Brady did, but Brady did it twice. Like Brady did Mahomes his past 5 years twice, just a little bit statistically worse. So, long way to go for Mr. Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean,
but if he picks off another one next year,
it's tough because
alarms.
I just don't think Mahomes can compete with Brady on the defensive side of the ball all time speaking.
he did this year, dude. He did.
Well, they just had a very good defense. I don't think it had to do with any defensive luck. They
Well,
just
what
had a
about
very
the
good
special
defense.
teams? Yeah, just you get a punt that lands on a Niners foot, and then they don't just jump on the ball while they're down
That's
4.
pretty.
That feels
Well-
like Mahomes or McCaffrey fumbling for the third time in 400 touches this season.
To be fair, they also had a brutal fumble in the red zone. So
Yeah, that's true. Pacheco cost them. And then how about that ugly duck pick Mahomes threw? Oh my God, that was so bad.
He rebounded though.
He did. He
Wow.
played a nice second half,
yeah. Well,
but it was
The
more. It's
game-winning
more that
drive was as
it,
clinical.
it
as
was
it
it was
gets.
a fun Super Bowl to watch. I'm just
more that
glad
Brock
that
Purdy is just not capable of winning a Super Bowl.
I'm just trying to get as many years in a row without having to watch Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl again. So
Why?
he's just not a football player I enjoy watching. He's not a fun football player to watch.
What was the name?
Burrow.
You're an alpha. I mean, that's the correct take. That's the correct
Yeah.
take.
Yeah.
I like
Top-
no, the
watching Burrow's
NFL
receivers
is
make plays.
better with Burrow on the sidelines, and I will stand by that.
Bob's an alpha.
That's some
Bob's
stunning
correct.
stuff.
That's the correct take right there.
It
I
is. It is.
I think the NFL just needs Brady back on the field.
I think that's the opposite of what they need. I think the days of Brady
Or
being over helps their brand.
they really need Mac Jones in Miami
Um,
and Tua out.
that Mac Jones in Miami would be the end of my NFL watching.
I know. They need B Blue to not be a fan anymore. I think that would be better. You could be replaced by the millions of Swifties that now have more rings in their lifetime than you do.
Oh God, yeah, that's probably the part that hurts the most.
Yeah. That's terrible.
I
How does
I
Taylor
can't
Swift get
stand
kissed at
Taylor Swift
Lombardi?
fans being happy. So
Yeah.
it's
kind
like
of
Tiger Woods. Like, listen, like I think I hate the fans more than I hate the actual player. Like
Yeah. I think that's fair.
the Swift fans are just brutal.
Swifties
out
are
there, man.
tough.
They're brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? I bet Swift will be the halftime show next year.
Very
Maybe not.
interesting. She was talking to Roger before the game.
Yeah, she was. She
Can
was
only
saying,
imagine
how
what
do
that
we
would be
get?
about.
She was saying that T Brady would have won the game already. I don't know.
I've heard enough. Do we wrap
Be
it
top
there?
That'll be that.
We'll be
Now
back.
that football season's over, we're officially on to golf.
Yeah.
And
Celtics.
well, Champions League. Dan not
Oh,
in the
for
Champions
all of
League.
us.
All right,
but
we're charging. Watch out,
Yes.
Liverpool. Here we
yes.
come.
Can we just take a moment to congrats Potato on the victory today? They don't come along very often.
Oh,
If
Chelsea.
you're
won.
listening,
One of our great
congrats.
listeners, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he's tuned in at the Sam's Club.
Yep. Yep. Working hard. I think he goes like 5 a.m.
He does
No.
grind. He does grind.
He is a grinder.
So shout out to him.
Like
and I
Jay
think
Speed
that's-
on the putting green. Grinder.
Yeah, Jay Speed did putt a lot this week. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it was good work bouncing back from Pebble because
Yeah.
Pebble was pathetic. And this week was the opposite.
It
And
was
if we
important to get it figured out.
get something over 2 strokes positive for the week on the greens this week at Riv, I feel pretty good.
I'd agree.
Mhm.
I'd agree.
I think
but-
that's all we
We'll
got.
have a Riv preview.
We will. We're
Yes.
back to 2 episodes a week. So
No, sir.
I know our hundreds of thousands of fans have been dying for us to go back to 2 episodes a week. So
We're here to please you guys.
we are. We're happy to please
Yes,
everyone.
sir.
Shop like a billionaire.
Yeah.
Team. Anyway.
What was that? That definitely did make sense, but
Yeah, that's
Um,
the cue to wrap it up. I was just thinking about Super Bowl ads.
fair enough. Well,
You had a lot of them.
thank you all for listening, and we'll see you
In the Riv
yeah,
preview.
tomorrow, essentially. Yeah.
Exactly. 24
Please.
hours. Take care.